Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2007 movie The Water Horse. It's time to recall, let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. The movie starts and we are taken to Scotland where a tourist couple is shown looking at a picture of a monster. One of them says that this monster cannot be real. An old man sitting nearby overhears this conversation and goes on to tell the couple that they are right, this monster is actually fake, and then goes on to say that he is going to tell them the story of a real monster. The couple then goes on to join the old man on his table and he starts the story. He says that back in 1942, when World War II was going on, there lived a young boy named Angus. Angus lives in the manor house of Lord Kiln on the Loch Ness with his mother Anne McMorrow and his sister Kirsty. Lewis Mowbray comes to work as a handyman there. Angus's father Charles, the former handyman, is a sailor in the Royal Navy, missing since his ship was sunk in the war a year ago. Angus is unable to accept that he won't return. Despite the fact that the boy lives near the sea, he is really scared of it and never goes near it. One day, he is sitting near the beach when he sees an unusual egg. He picks it up and takes it home with him. The boy keeps the egg in his storeroom and does not tell anyone about it. He then peels off all the dirt that has become a part of the egg since it has been out there in the dirt for God knows how long. As he does that, he is called by his mother, so he has to leave the egg there to listen to what his mother has to say. That night, Angus sits in his room and it starts to rain heavily. Angus sits by the window looking outside, and from there, he can look at the door to the storeroom. He then hears some noise coming from that room and the boy quickly runs towards it. When he gets to the room, he however does not see anything there. He looks around and his eyes catch a glimpse of a weird creature that he has never seen before. The creature is small and has come out of the egg brought to the storeroom by Angus from the beach. Angus gets closer to the creature and tries to touch it, but the creature leaps at his hand and Angus shoves it away. He thinks the creature must be hungry, so he runs to the kitchen right away and brings a tomato to offer it to the weird creature. Angus then feeds him the tomato after peeling it, and as he does that, he notices that there is a small wound on the creature's body. So he tends to the wound, and as he does that, his mother calls him yet again and he has to go, leaving the creature right there. The next day, when Angus wakes up, as he looks on, he sees many military vehicles approaching. They live at the beach and the country is at war, so the British Army keeps coming to the beach to make sure no German enters or attacks their country through the sea. During the war, this was a normal occurrence, and we learn that these soldiers live in the houses of the native people wherever they go, and Angus learns that some of the soldiers are gonna be living at his house too. Angus later on makes his way to the storeroom and sees that the creature has broken many things there. He understands that this creature must be really hungry. He quickly goes to the kitchen again but finds nothing he could offer the little creature to eat because there are soldiers at his house and they eat a lot of food. He then takes the garbage can to the creature, and it gets into the can and goes on to eat anything that he can. Angus is relieved that at least he is eating, and he names him Crusoe. Angus and Crusoe now start getting closer to each other and both like each other's company. Angus realizes that this creature might need to be in water too, so he goes on to bring a drum of water and puts Crusoe in it. As it goes in the water, the creature seems to be having fun. One day, a boy named Lewis comes to their house who is there to help Angus's mother with the daily chores. His mother goes to the storeroom and sees all the stuff broken or messed up. She realizes that her son is up to something and he is keeping it a secret. Angus's mother goes on to tell Lewis that Angus must have kept a pet in his room because he is not allowed to keep pets, so he might have kept it a secret from everyone. She tells Lewis that if he sees any pet, he is ordered to take it away from the house. Angus then makes his way to the storeroom where Lewis is cleaning up all the mess. Angus sees that Crusoe is not there anymore and he confronts Lewis, but Lewis tells him to go away, adding that he is cleaning right now. Angus starts looking for him, and this is when we see Crusoe, who is now in the house, as he tries to look for Angus. He hears water dropping in the bathroom, and when he gets there, he finds a bathtub full of water and his eyes glitter at the sight. He gets in the tub and starts having some fun of his own. This is when we see Kirsty, Angus's sister, going into the bathroom, but when she sees Crusoe, she starts shouting. Angus gets there and begs his sister not to tell anyone about Crusoe. She sees that Angus is happy for the first time in his life, and she loves her brother, so she agrees to keep it a secret. This is when Lewis walks into the bathroom to repair the tap, and he also startles when he sees Crusoe. He asks Angus about it and tells him that he is going to tell on him, but Angus begs him not to do so. He then sees that Crusoe is actually really sweet and friendly, so he also agrees to keep it a secret. He then tells Angus that this is a water horse, and it is said that there was a time when there used to be only one water horse in the world, and she laid an egg. The last water horse, however, died before she could hatch it, and the egg was lost, so this must be the same egg Angus has found. The next night, there is a dinner party at Angus's house, and all of the soldiers are gathered over a big fancy table. Angus gives Crusoe some food and puts him in the bathtub before he himself leaves for the dinner too. He, however, leaves the door open mistakenly, and Crusoe gets out. An army dog is also there, and he starts chasing Crusoe. The creature ends up in the big hall where all the soldiers are, but before anyone can see it, Angus realizes what is going on, and this is when Crusoe runs out of the house. Angus tries to look for him, but he is not able to find him. Lewis also gets there and tells Angus to go inside the house. Lewis himself then starts looking for the creature, but he is not able to find it. He decides that he is going to look for it early morning. When he comes back to look for Crusoe in the morning, he finds it coming out of a fountain in the street and notices that Crusoe has gotten a lot bigger now. They now realize that they are not going to be able to hide it in the house anymore, so they decide to leave it in the sea now. Angus is sad to hear this, but he understands that Crusoe belongs to the sea. They get on a truck and Lewis starts driving towards the sea. Lewis takes him to the sea, but the creature resists as he does not want to go away from Angus. Lewis, however, forcefully leaves him in the sea waters and they leave right away. When they get home after having done that, Captain Hamilton comes to Angus's house and proclaims Lewis to be a bad influence on the boy, and Angus's mother allows him to teach Angus some discipline. Angus is now always seen with the captain, and he makes him do a lot of work as well. After a few days of training, he escapes, returning to the lake to see Crusoe. He starts shouting Crusoe's name, but the creature does not show up. So despite being really scared of the water, he gets on a boat and sails his way right in the middle of the lake and keeps calling Crusoe's name. As he does that, a full-grown Crusoe shows up. He is now nothing less than gigantic. Angus is over the moon to see him and they hug each other. Angus is not even the size of Crusoe's neck. He then gets Angus to ride on its back. After some time, it begins to dive. Angus protests diving, but later enjoys himself and finally overcomes his phobia. Angus then says goodbye to Crusoe as it is now time for him to leave, but when he is saying goodbye to Crusoe, a soldier sees him doing this, and Angus right away shouts at Crusoe to go back in the deep water, not to come out. He himself makes his way home and sees his sister. Lewis also joins them, and Angus goes on to tell both of them the whole story about how he just met Crusoe. Lewis and Christy are both happy for the boy, and this is when we see that Angus's mother is standing in the window and she has heard everything. She is, however, happy to see these three happy and leaves without saying anything to the kids. Lewis sees Anne, Angus's mother, and follows her outside. There, he goes on to reveal that he himself used to be a soldier once and he has fought many battles as well, but he got injured in one of the battles and did not go back in the army as a soldier again. Lewis and Anne are then seen standing together by Captain Hamilton and he does not like it. It seems like he has a crush on Anne and he seems jealous of Lewis. Hamilton then goes on to call one of his juniors and orders him to do a background check on Lewis. The junior tells him that this man used to be a soldier once, and later, he tells the captain that Lewis has a clean record, and this makes the captain even angrier because he was trying to find some dirt on Lewis. The scene then changes to the bar where we see some people talking about a monster. It is revealed that two other people have seen Crusoe in the lake, and they are calling him a sea monster. One of the men then goes on to say that they're going to have to catch that sea monster at any cost. He says that when this war is over, they will show this monster to the people and they could use him in a circus, which will help them make a lot of money. One of them says that if they use this monster in the right way, this place could become a tourist spot, because when people get to know about this monster, they will come for sure to see it. The next day, Captain Hamilton takes the McMorrow family to a hill overlooking Loch Ness. Crusoe is almost hit by an exploding shell during a firing demonstration. Angus sees the soldiers firing again, and he gets scared because he knows that Crusoe is also there, and these cannons could very much hit him too. Angus interrupts to save Crusoe from injury or death, enraging Hamilton and irritating his mother, who is unfamiliar with water horses and won't believe him. The captain goes on to scold the boy in a rude manner, and Anne does not like it. She says that they should leave now, and this makes Hamilton even angrier because he brought the family here to impress Anne, but his plan has now failed because of Angus. Angus is punished, having to be in his room at 6 every night for a month. That evening, the people from the bar try to look for the monster, but it does not show up. They then make a dummy of a water horse and put it in the water to take a picture. That night, Angus and Lewis make their way to the lake because Angus has been worried about Crusoe because cannons were shot in the water and he wants to make sure if Crusoe is alright. They get close to the water and Crusoe comes out. This time he is really aggressive because of all the firing during the day, and Angus tries to calm him down. It however doesn't work, and Angus feels bad for Crusoe and leaves. That night, two soldiers go in the lake on a military boat to hunt the water horse. Hamilton's dog Churchill, having smelled Crusoe from the shore, alerts the soldiers of its presence before being eaten by Crusoe. Crusoe then surprises the soldiers, capsizing their boat, but not before one of them sends out an SOS to Hamilton, who thinks the Germans are attacking. At the lock, Angus calls out to Crusoe, who is attacking Strunk. In his attempt to calm Crusoe, Angus wades into the lake, slips, and sinks. Crusoe then goes on to rescue Angus. When his mother arrives, she finally believes him when she sees Crusoe, though at first she accuses Lewis of filling Angus's head with nonsense. The nearby artillery battery soon opens fire upon Crusoe, mistaking it for a German U-boat. Angus, Hamilton, Anne, and Lewis lead Crusoe to safety on the net, who then manages to escape into the sea. At sunrise, Angus finally accepts his father has passed before they watch Crusoe go. It is implied that Anne is also ready to move on, having fallen in love with Lewis. Over the years, several people claim spotting it, but Angus never sees Crusoe again, while others say that it returns as it had been trying to look for Angus. The scene then changes back to the present where it started with the tourist couple and an old man telling them the story. The tourists thank the old storyteller and ask for his name, which he reveals to be Angus McMorrow. Outside the pub, a mother calls out to her son William, who is walking down the beach. He spots a large rock, which has an iridescent blue shell just like Crusoe's, hinting that Crusoe has left a descendant behind to become the next water horse. And with that, the movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.